Magic. Afternoon again everyone, welcome to another video and I hope you're keeping well. Joined by Hambo again.
Hey.
We are in Hertfordshire near the Bedfordshire and Buckinghamshire borders. So we're doing a little 6-mile circular walk from this Hertfordshire book, 50 Walks in Hertfordshire by the AA. We're in Aldbury. It's a nice little village sort of in the Chiltern Hills. The sort of ridge behind us, the Bridgewater Monument, is up there somewhere in the trees. Apparently some good views up there. We're going to be heading up there later on in the walk. We're going to also be visiting another high point called Aldbury Nowers or Nowers. I think it's about 220 metres above sea level. We have got stuff packed for a wild camp tonight. So Hambo, what tent have you got tonight?
I have got my Van Gogh Blade 100.
Oh nice.
Yeah.
You've not used that for a while, have you?
I haven't, no.
It's a fairly lightweight little tent. It's a decent tent. I used to own one. I've got my Terra Nova Laser Competition 1 with me tonight. Wanted to take it out again, try and get my money's worth out of it really. It's nice and lightweight, of course it's under the kilo, so it should be fine up on the hills if any winds do pick up, but I think it's going to be really, really hot weather again. It's baking hot today. It's about 30, 31. So sun cream out, t-shirts, shorts, all that sort of stuff, sunglasses. I've got some like cold towels as well. You soak in water, wring the water out, and then they stay cold for quite a while. And yeah, hopefully they do the trick. So we've got a little bit of alcohol with us tonight, not loads, because we're doing, you know, the miles, and we don't really want to be carrying that extra weight. Really, that extra weight's going to be in water, I think. So, but we'll try and find a place to fill up along the way. Anyways, enough talking, and let's get walking. Aldbury, one of Hertfordshire's most attractive villages, nestles in the lee of a steep wooded chalk escarpment. The stone column of the Bridgewater Monument crowning the ridge to its northeast. To the northwest, the wooded Aldbury Nowers terminate the chalk escarpment from Ivinghoe before dropping nearly 300 feet into the valley of the River Bourbon, a superb setting for Aldbury with its triangular village green and fine cottages. Heading westwards, our route crosses the railway line that cuts through the Chilterns. Built as the London and Birmingham Railway from Euston, it runs in a cutting that is over 2 miles long and up to 57 feet deep. The line opened as far as Tring Station in October 1837, and a railway hamlet grew up here, with railway labourers' cottages being numbered in sequence from Euston. Later in the walk is the canal along the Bourbon Valley. The canal was built by the Grand Junction Canal Company, formed in 1793. It was renamed the Grand Union Canal in 1929. The company's canal significantly shortened the route to London from Birmingham by avoiding the winding Oxford Canal and the River Thames. The canal reached King's Langley in September 1797. As the Chilterns proved difficult to pass, it needed a major cutting, some 30 feet deep, to reduce the number of locks required. It was finally opened in May 1800, and our route follows a good deep section of the Tring cutting. Welcome back everyone. It's about 5 o'clock now, still really hot out. There is a slight breeze which is really welcome because it's been a hot one today. We've drunk a hell of a lot of fluids and we're both pretty shattered. We've just climbed up Pitstone Hill and we're due to turn right behind me along the Ridgeway to Aldbury Nowers, or Nowers, however you pronounce it, 220 metres above sea level, and we were looking at a possible wild camp spot there. We sort of spied a few spots up on Pitstone Hill. We just run up there and recce'd it, and we're going to basically come off of our route as if we were doing the Ridgeway, which I'm hopefully going to be doing next year. You can actually see Ivinghoe Beacon in the distance, the end point of the Ridgeway and the start of the Icknield Way, which I'm doing. And there's some little spots under some trees up there and stuff that's flat. It's a bit quieter. It doesn't look like it's as well, there's no one about, so we're thinking we're going to get less human traffic through there, and we're going to give that a go and camp up there, because I don't think either of us have got a lot left in us really to do any more mileage today. We just need to rest up really. The heat is absolutely sapping. The views from Pitstone are pretty cool. So behind me up there, see those little hills, those little bumps and the trees and that's where we're going to go and hopefully find us some spots to pitch up. So we've climbed up to those mounds on the top of Pitstone Hill. Really, really nice. It's sort of kind of out of the wind here, and someone has had a fire, which is annoying because it's a really good spot. Look at that little flat spot there. We've probably got another one here for Hambo's tent. Normally, if that fire wasn't here, or it had just been taken care of properly, i.e. got rid of, we could just camp here. But if anyone came along and spotted us, they're more likely to have a go at us because they'll see that and think it's us. Whereas if they just see two tents here and a couple of geezers with like alcohol stoves or whatever, well, he ain't even got a stove, I have, but do you know what I mean? If we ain't got a fire, it's not as bad looking, is it? But anyway, Here's another spot Hambo's just found, and yeah, someone's had a fire here, and it's a relatively flat spot. It's a bit of a slope down towards the camera here, but it's another good spot. So clearly people camp up here or have tried it. So, and these fires are fairly recent looking, so it's a bit like that bit in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly when he's when Tuco the Ugly is tracking Clint Eastwood's character Blondie, and as he's following him, he finds the remains of his fire pits, and he's got his cigars that he's dumped in the fire, and the final one he picks it out of the fire, Tuco, and he draws on it, and it fires back up into life again, so he knows he's close by. It reminds me of that film, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. It's a classic. Anyways, it's nice up here. Grim's Ditch is a great linear boundary ditch and embankment dating from the Iron Age. It continues north across the downland of Pitstone Hill. This is where we're going to camp tonight. We've got one over there and one over here, so we could each pick one. But what we're going to do though, because we're good wild campers, we leave no trace and we're not tossers, we're going to try and clear these fire pits away. Not just really as respect for the land and stuff, but for our own benefit really, because like I say, if anyone comes across us and sees that there's a fire pit, they'll instantly assume it's us, and it doesn't look good. So we're going to get rid of these. Hambo's got his shit trowel. I've got my peg hammer, which has got like almost like a mattock style end to it, so we can sort of dig the ground over and bury the fire and stuff. We'll figure out some way anyway of doing it, but yeah, anyway, so I think we've got camp for the night. It's about 6:30. We've just been sat chilling out and recovering, and now we're starting work on the fire pit, getting rid of it. So I started doing it with using Hambo's shit trowel to scatter the ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Bless you, child.
Well, no, because they're an arsehole for leaving the ash out, but yeah, this is what you have to do. You leave a fire, some other poor sod has to get rid of it, so they don't get accused for having a fire. So do us a favour, if you're going to have a fire, use like a fire pit, like a fire container or a bush box, or just don't have a fire. You don't have to have a fire. I mean, fires are nice and all, but if you're going to have a fire, make sure it's contained, or dig a pit so you can then bury the ashes, or scatter the ashes, whatever. Just don't leave a fire. But that's about the best we can do with the fire, with the limited tools we've got. But we've scattered as much ash as we can, turned some of the soil over to bury it, got rid of all the stones, or the big stones anyway. There was some glass, beer bottles in there. I cut my thumb on a flint, so if you're watching and you left that fire, you're a piece of shit. I injured myself because of you, so stop having fires, or at least dispose of them properly. Really pissed me off that. The other fire pit in the spot behind us, I've sort of dug over a bit and scattered the ash as much as I can, but the ground still looks disturbed. You know, you can tell someone's had a fire. It's just a damaged bit of ground, unfortunately. One of two stoves from Hambo, carbon felt alcohol stove, and that triangle, bit of tin foil, Bargo hexagon wood stove. You can use it in multiple fuels really. And inside, might just be able to see it there, is the ammo tin or pellet tin stove with the fire rope in it. Dinner is another Adventure Foods dehydrated meal. This is beef goulash. Going to give that a try tonight, see what it's like. But this was from a subscriber named Jeff. Recently, me and Candice met up with him down in Kent, and we went and explored Ridgeway Roman Fort and Amphitheatre, and I think the World War I or World War II prison remains there. And he gave me and Candice 2 ciders each, and he gave me this, so cheers mate. And I appreciated his kind words. He said, I have to pay to watch the BBC. He said, whereas with your channel I want to pay for it. So he kindly gave me that, so cheers mate, that's really much appreciated. I thought, don't want to carry tons and tons of booze with me, so I thought I'll just bring one, but it's a big one. So this is a bottle of Henderson's Spectacular Rhubarb Cider. I might have had it before actually, from the Kent Cider Company. I picked this up possibly at Ridgeway Roman Fort actually, I think, where me and Candice have been doing the English Heritage site visits. They always seem to sell different varieties of cider, so of course I'm like, I'm off to a flame with that. Really flies around shit. I'm like, yep, you know, it's probably cost me about £8 this, and she's rolling her eyes, and I was like, no, I've got to get it. Grown in the soils of England's garden. It's 5%. At Kent Cider Company HQ, we use the finest apples and traditional cider making methods to create our rustic yet refined range of contemporary craft ciders. Handcrafted from English apples from orchards near Faversham, Kent, bursting with the taste of freshly pressed rhubarb juice. Naturally cloudy, and it's got sediment in it, so it settles a bit, so give it a little mix up. And yeah, it's a 750ml bottle, so I'll share a bit of that with Hambo. We'll crack that open in a minute. Apologies, it's gonna auto white balance and stuff throughout this scene, I'm afraid. I figured it's either you put up with that but you get that view, or you get this view but you don't get the auto white balance as bad. It's up to you, what do you want? Let's stick with this because I can't be asked to move the camera around anyway. Technology for you. So while I was time-lapsing, of course I couldn't film. This is where I need 2 cameras, and I had that beef goulash from Adventure Foods, and I've got to say, I've had goulash before in like Polish ration packs and stuff, and it was okay. I was a massive fan of it. This, bloody lovely. I literally wolfed that down. I was quite hungry because I sort of missed lunch. I sort of had really big breakfast, a few snacks, but not a lunch. So, you know, we've been doing miles, hills today. It's been hot, so I was bound to be hungry. But it was so nice. It was basically like mashed potatoes with goulash spices and a bit of minced beef in it. So nice. And I didn't put loads and loads of water in. In fact, I didn't put as much water in as what it said. I put a little bit less in, and then I just sort of topped it up gradually, you know, as and when it needed it, so I got the right consistency. And yeah, I wolfed that down while the sun was setting, so apologies you didn't get to see it, but most of you have probably had those before anyway, so you know what I'm talking about. Here where I am now, like, I can be seen on the hillside from the footpaths, but down there, that's Hambo's shoulder, right, but we're tucked down there and we're well out of sight. It's absolutely brilliant. Like, you'd have to basically come up here to find us. Like, you'd have to come up onto this part of the hill and then down into the dip to find us. I'll take you into camp now. Let's go for a mooch into camp. There we are. So we did our best with those fire pits and cleared them, but it weren't brilliant. Yeah, there's the fire pit, and that's my tent set up there. I will tidy everything up. It's just like that was the cooking area, then I set the tent up. I'll get everything squared away and stuff. I like to kind of keep organised camping. And then we'll head up to this little spot here where the other fire pit was that I sort of tried to dig over, but it was no go. And Hambo is camping here. There's his little setup, the Van Gogh Blade 100. Used to own one of these, and it's a good tent, very good tent, and so affordable as well. Porch space is a bit small for me, but I managed to fit me and Candice in there on our first wild camp together. Of course, I didn't have a two-man tent because I didn't think I was actually going to meet anyone that would want to come wild camping with me, or just meet anyone full stop. But yeah, so I had to squeeze her in that, and that was during the Beast from the East, and we camped at Landguard Point near Felixstowe in Suffolk. Good tent, and yeah, so affordable yet good quality. I like Van Gogh tents, they're good. I like the colour schemes, everything about them. It's no nonsense. So yeah, I sold mine to a subscriber named John from Suffolk. Sold it to him and did a camp with him. I think we'll be alright here, to be fair. I'm going to crack open this cider. I've not touched it yet. It's a screw lid. Hambo doesn't want any. He's had a cider. He don't want to drink too much, so I've got all 750ml to myself. So, as I say, I might have had this one before. I'm not sure. I might have just done an Instagram review or something. So, let's see what it's like anyway. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Hambo.
Cheers, matey.
No fizz. Cheers. Oh, it's not bad. Because it's that bit stronger at 5% instead of a 4, the rhubarb isn't as prevalent, I don't think. It's flat. It's not lightly sparkling enough, and it's flat as. It's not the best rhubarb cider I've ever had, I'm not going to lie. It's a fancy, posh sort of rhubarb cider, so I like kind of cheap ciders, I'm not going to lie. But I can drink it though. I mean, I haven't got a choice because it's all I've got, but you can taste the quality in it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm going to give it a 7.3 out of 10. It's not awful. It's above average, but I don't think it's worthy of like high scores like 8+. But yeah, it's not to say that it's awful. It's a pretty good cider still. I just feel like it could maybe benefit from being slightly fizzy. Henderson's Spectacular Rhubarb Cider from the Kent Cider Company. Probably best shared, but you know. Final drink of the evening. PG tips, by the way. I think this come from Katie's Boris box. It's Luke's other half. Luke, Real Travelling Amigos. They just saved up loads of teas and coffees for me, so cheers. Loads of space in here, despite it sort of being a compact little tent. And got pretty much everything I need in here. The stove and my pots and my boots are in the porch. My little kneeling mat out there. I've got everything I need down by the side here. Rucksacks in here as well. And we want to sort of get walking, not too early, but relatively early, because it's going to be another hot day again tomorrow. I think it's meant to be like 30 or 31 degrees. I think by midday it's going to be about 29 degrees Celsius. So yeah, we want to have finished the walk before midday, just to avoid the kind of like the worst of the heat. It's been a good camp. It's been fun. It's always a pleasure camping with Hambo. So, enough yawning. I'll see you in the morning. Morning all. It's 7:30. I was up at about 6:30. I poked my head out the door and it was quite misty. In fact, it's still quite misty now. And the wind had picked up a bit. Actually, got quite windy. And I think there may have been a tiny bit of rain in the night, because we've got a couple of, like literally a couple of drops on the tent, and you can sort of hear them coming out of the trees and stuff still. So sort of a bit of a strange old sort of morning really, but apparently by 8 AM, which is soon, it's gonna clear up and it's still gonna be quite hot and clear again. I've got pretty much everything packed up inside the tent. Hambo was up at 6, I think, and he's actually packed up already and taken his tent down. He's been up a while. So I've done a coffee, I've had some dried blueberries, and I'm about to tuck into this all-day breakfast that Jeff, a long-term subscriber, gave me. So cheers, mate. This is my first taste of the all-day breakfast. It's basically sausages and beans with like a bit of potato, sorry, not potato, with a bit of that like bacon and omelette in it. And I thought, well, I can eat that, that's not that bad. The sausages are good. I'm going to get this all in my beard, I know. I apologise if you're eating right now. Right, I believe that is some omelette. It's not bad. Got a funny texture to it. It basically just sort of tastes like eggy bread, or like bread that's been soaked. It's alright. It's got a bit of a strange texture, but I can get around that. There's some bacon in here somewhere. I think this is the bacon. Like little cubes of bacon. It's not bad. I'd say that's actually, and I like bacon, I'd say that's actually probably the weakest component of the whole meal. You bit into it and there was like this kind of chemically kind of taste that come out of it. Almost felt like it stung my nostrils. And I've never had bacon like that before. So yeah, it's not bad. It's not my favourite. Like for me, I personally just stick with the sausages and beans. But it's good to try these things. Cheers, Jeff. Cheers, mate. Hopefully we'll do a meet up soon, and a camp and a walk, something like that. Maybe some of the Kent coast, which I've got to crack on with. I've also got some porridge Basically, you know, you get those little individual pots of porridge. I just decanted them into some foil bags and heat sealed them. Another tea. We've got to go past the cars anyway to get up to the Bridgewater Monument, so we can actually probably collect some more water, like a little bit of extra water just for the climb up there and then back down, so that's alright. Anyways, I'm going to get munching. Chat to you soon. Get this out of my beard. Just behind me, down in that little hollow, that was a really good spot to camp. That really pleased that we actually stopped earlier last night rather than push on, because we probably could have finished the whole walk before sunset, but we may not have found anywhere else along the rest of the route. We'll soon find out, won't we? There'll probably be loads of spots, but just this seemed the best. It was out of the way, it was out of sight. We were sort of sheltered from the worst of the wind. We still had the views of the, like, from, you know, Pitstone Hill. It's just starting to get a little bit warmer now. The sort of mist is lifting. Views here are amazing. I think our beacon's only round the corner, and the views from there are amazing as well. So it's just something about this area, North Chilterns. It's incredible. Anyways, right, let's get the tent down. This wooded area on the chalk ridge is Aldbury Nowers, or Aldbury Nowers. Okay, so there aren't any views of the countryside down below us, but there's some kind of flat, secluded spots over there off the path. This is the Ridgeway, by the way, and we probably could have wild camped there, but do you know what? It don't matter. There's no way, I really can't see we're going to find anywhere at the Bridgewater Monument, but yeah, so we probably could have camped here in the woods, but I don't know, I kind of like the spot we had. It was nice. and we had those incredible views as well. We've been following a section of the Ridgeway long distance national trail, which I hope to do next year. Really looking forward to that one. It's Pitstone Hill in Wiltshire, not far from Avebury, the big stone circle, to Ivinghoe Beacon Hill Fort in Buckinghamshire. I think it's 87 miles, and there, that turns right and we are going left. But this has been a good little walk, this, because it's sort of shown me the last sort of section of the Ridgeway, and it's given me a few ideas of places that I can wild camp along that bit. So it's piqued my interest in it. I'm looking forward to doing that one. Don't know whether I'm going to do it all in one go or 2 multiple day trips, you know, doing half each, or do it in sections. Don't know. I wouldn't mind trying it in one go. We're back at the cars, but that's not the end of the video. We basically looked on the map and saw that this route that's in the book actually goes right past this car park, and you had the option of starting from either here or further down by the village green, and we opted to park here so that we could park overnight for free. So we've actually come back out to the cars, which is convenient because we needed to get some more water, and we also decided to jettison some equipment because we don't really need the tents anymore or anything. So what we've done is we've taken out most of our camping gear and replaced it with like our chairs, so that we could sit up at the Bridgewater Monument when we get up there, because it's our final steep climb of this walk. Okay, it's quite busy here, but we are about to approach the Bridgewater Monument just through the trees there, and I have got to eat my words once again, because I reckon we probably could have got away with a bit of a stealthy wild camp here. The woodlands are really dense and they're inviting, and yeah, it probably gets busy early on with dog walkers and stuff, but we could have stayed hidden in these woods and camped here. With everything that's going on at the moment, with all the staycation idiots and the UK holiday morons, because they can't go on holiday, they're all taking to camping. Of course, because they can't get in the campsites because they're all full up, they're trying their hand at wild camping, and because they ain't got a clue what they're doing with that, they're littering and having fires and stuff. Of course, the National Trust is now hot on it all, and kind of keeping an eye out for people more, so that's why we avoided camping here. Anyway, rant over. The Bridgewater Monument is a giant Doric column topped by an urn which commemorates Francis Egerton, the 3rd Duke of Bridgewater and a canal building pioneer. He is buried in Little Gaddesden Church. So yeah, this geezer basically introduced canals after seeing I think the aqueducts in France, yeah, and decided we'll have some of that. And before, what was it? Was it a horse? Yeah, a horse with a car on a road or a track could pull 1 ton of coal just about, but on the waterways it could pull 30 tons of coal. Yeah, so it completely transformed just transportation of goods and stuff. And then of course the trains come along and canals became extinct really as uses of transport and stuff, but still really fascinating. So we're back on the village green in Aldbury with its kind of little pond that's a bit dried out. The Greyhound pub is sort of over that way, the village store's over there, and down Stocks Road over there is where the cars are parked. So that's where we're going to head back to. It's about 500 yards, the sign says that, conveniently placed there. That's the end of this video, and that's been a really good walk and wild camp. It's gone without a hitch, really successful. It's been really hot out, we've sweated buckets, I absolutely stink, but it's been good fun, it's been worth it. I want to say a big thank you to Hambo for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Cheers mate, it's always a pleasure, never a chore, always good fun when we do camps and walks together. Cheers everyone for watching, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe, I'll see you again soon. Bye.
Cheers.
I cannot believe it. There's a road named after me. My surname's Hill, in case you're wondering. Tom's Hill Road. That is unbelievable.